Hey guys, and welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel. And as we do now every few weeks, there's a big game on the weekend. It is Newcastle United hosting Liverpool on Sunday there. So as such, there's no better way to celebrate the game and prepare for the game with a combined 11. So like we did with Chelsea and Liverpool in match week 1, we'll be doing combined 11. Hard decisions at times. Obviously Newcastle on the up there they are. Liverpool coming off a poor season, but with so much talent in their squad. So a lot of debate to be had, a lot of decision making for me to make. And let's get straight into this team. Start at the back again, and like I said in the previous one with the Chelsea Liverpool team, for me in the Premier League, if Liverpool's an option to select a goalkeeper, you have to go with Alisson, one of the best shot stoppers in the league. We saw it against Chelsea with some pivotal, palms away from the likes of Nicholas Jackson standing in the box, some important saves at times, and I guess despite having probably a poorer game against Bournemouth, getting caught on the ball and a poor pass there, he is one of the best the Premier League's ever had, I think. His consistency with his hands is up there as the top in the league, and like I said previously, he's no slouch with his feet. Not probably as good as the likes of Edison, but his sheer big moment, clutch saves that he makes is just too much for me, and as such, he just has to go in the goalkeeper position for me. We now move on the right side of the defence here, and I feel that this guy is a symbol of Newcastle revival. I've talked a bit about him on the Away Days podcast that we do, and for me it has to be Kieran Trippier. Obviously coming back from Atletico Madrid, the first signing of the rejuvenation of Newcastle United, he has been a symbol for their comeback. He's so solid defensively, and I guess what we love about him most often is his ability to deliver a great ball in the box, and his pinpoint accuracy, probably not as good as Trent Alexander-Arnold's. We'll get into him in a little bit, but his defensive acumen just adds up as well, and he's so good going both ways on the field. He's the leader for Newcastle United. He has a captain's armband and does it really, really well. And last season, I think we saw the best of him in that back four there. Obviously, so far this season, the Newcastle United team only conceded 2 goals to Aston Villa and Manchester City, who are arguably going to be 2 of the best sort of 5 or 6 teams this year. So just shows the ability of Trippier and the other defenders defensively, and also the ball at his feet. And he's an absolute wizard. And I haven't gone with Trent Alexander-Arnold. We've seen the first 2 games that both Chelsea and Bournemouth have targeted him, and his errors or concentration errors at times have led to both goals that Liverpool conceded so far this season. Not quite a top right back for me, probably one of the best central midfielders or the inverted fullbacks we're seeing these days, but just don't have the all-round game that Kieran Trippier has. This guy delivers great balls in the box, probably doesn't get the statistical output he probably deserves. He's so consistent going forward, and defensively, one of the best right backs we've got in the Premier League at the moment. So as such, he's the right back for this combined 11. Now coming to the right side of that centre-back position, I've gone with Virgil van Dijk. I didn't include him in the Chelsea combined 11 with Liverpool, but this time I think I have to. His size, his speed, is just something we haven't really seen much in the Premier League. Takes you back to the great centre-backs of Rio Ferdinand and Emmanuel Vidic's of the world. Ruthless into tackles, and it's quite scary how he can just body off quicker, smaller attackers, and he makes it a hard day for any forward. Obviously, after that ACL injury, hasn't been quite the same player that he was before those COVID seasons and when Liverpool won the Premier League there, but I think we slowly starting to see him get back to that form, especially that Chelsea game. He was put under the pump with that lack of midfield defensive acumen in there, so he was tasked with a lot of defensive work, and him and Konate, you can see by the end of the game with Virgil van Dijk on his haunches, he was working so hard. With the ball at his feet, he's a great pass to the ball as well. We saw that against Bournemouth a lot of times, gets on the ball, makes a positive forward pass, and it's so important for a team to get, like Liverpool, to get in the front foot, to get the opposition's half, and he starts that from the back with his great passing range. Probably not the best ball-playing centre-back, but definitely up there with some of the best going around the Premier League. And I think despite his speed not being where it was prior to the injury, he's one of the quickest and most versatile centre-backs we've got in the league. And as far as right-sided centre-backs go, there's not many better than Virgil van Dijk. As such, he's in this combined 11. Then we come to the left side of the centre-back position, and again, probably one of the best left-sided centre-backs we have in the Premier League right now. I've had to put in Sven Botman. Since coming across to Newcastle, has been involved in just over 30 games and has won 20 of those, with also the 11 clean sheets. He's a part of arguably the best defence in the Premier League, competing next to Manchester City. Obviously last season, the defensive record was remarkable, Newcastle United, and it was the Sven Botman and I think Trippier of the world that really stood out as the leaders of that back four. And that combination alongside the likes of Dan Burn, Trippier, and Fabian Schär back there. They're no big names, but they all get their job done very, very well. And I think Sven Botman's just flown under the radar a bit as a really, really important part and a pivotal piece of that Newcastle defence. Another one who's surprisingly quick. He can close down spaces. And on Erling Haaland last week, his defensive work was remarkable, shutting down space, making it hard for him. Haaland obviously struggling, missing a few sort of gettable opportunities we expect him to get. But I think we look and who was defending him and who was there at times. It was Sven Botman putting him under pressure. That perceived pressure is so important for forwards, and to put off Haaland and to not be able to concede a goal to Haaland in a game where Manchester City basically dictated that game just goes to show how good of a centre-back Sven Botman is. I think the sky's the limit with this guy. He's continuing to improve on a linear basis, and he's becoming one of the strongest, most consistent centre-backs amongst the league. I have him as probably the top 2 or 3 left-sided centre-backs we've got in the Premier League, and he's super consistent. He oozes that class and that confidence, and as such, he makes this combined 11. Now shifting towards the left side of the defence, I've gone with Andy Robertson, the Scottish international. I couldn't really put Dan Burn in. I don't see him being the future of Newcastle's fullback position. Don't get me wrong, done a really, really good job. But Andy Robertson, over so many seasons now, has done it. Even looking to this year here, despite this new Liverpool system of having fullbacks tuck in, he's still doing that stereotypical bombing down on the flank, getting in very dangerous areas. And again, like Virgil van Dijk, his passing range is absolutely remarkable. Whenever Liverpool need to hit someone up, it's going to be Andy Robertson putting a pinpoint pass into there. As they always say, he flies under the radar with Trent Alexander-Arnold's passing range, but his passing range is not far off that of Trent's. His attacking output, his assist numbers have been there the past few seasons, looking back to that Champions League winning season and also that Premier League winning season only 2 to 3 years ago. The output was there, the 8 assists last season as well. This guy is super consistent, and the fact that we don't really talk about him too much, it just shows how consistent he is. He doesn't make many mistakes. He doesn't do many outrageous things, but he gets the job done and has been pivotal for Liverpool's sort of last 3 to 4 seasons, even 5 seasons where they've been at the top in England and in Europe. And it's because how good he is defensively and also going forward. So he's the left back for this kind of combined 11 team. As far as the midfield go, it was a very hard decision for me to make in this one. I started with Tonali. I feel like since moving across from AC Milan, he's been a key standout for me in Newcastle's 11. Obviously done very, very good work with AC Milan, constant figure in that team, constantly featured, a pivotal part of that team, but made the big money move across to Newcastle, and there is a lot of pressure at the moment. That first game though, a remarkable start. Within the first 10 minutes getting on the score sheet with an absolute belting volley. That game he played so well in that sort of number 8 position, dictating the play, spraying passes all around the place. And he fits so well and connects well with that Newcastle midfield. Just as I said, he, like Bruno Guimaraes, he has so much to offer, both defensively, offensively. His ability to control and dictate play is something that's really going to stand out for Newcastle this year. Despite a sort of average performance against Manchester City, probably got overrun by that Manchester City midfield. We still saw a glimpse of how good he is, but I'll just look back to the Aston Villa game and the oozing of confidence and calmness on the ball and that quality he showed. I think he has to fit in this 11, especially with Liverpool's sort of lacklustre midfield at the moment. Another central midfielder, many may say the best Bruno in the Premier League, is Bruno Guimaraes. We've seen since he's joined the club, he's just revolutionised the club since coming across. The upturn has been remarkable. For me, one of the best 6s, 8s, so versatile in there. He can pick the ball up on the half turn, he can drive with the football at his feet. His dribble success, his pass success rate are so high. Other than for his yellow cards he often gets, he almost doesn't have many mistakes in his game. And he's just pivotal to getting the ball into the forward areas for Newcastle United. Since he's come, he's allowed the player to live in the opposition half. And on the counter-attack, he's always back there tracking back defensively. Again, I look back to the Aston Villa game. Him and Tonali in there just dominate that midfield battle. He's got strength, he's got power, but he's also so skillful with the ball at his feet. Obviously a Brazilian, we come to expect that. His output numbers, I hope continue to rise this year. And in the Manchester City game, probably got the best midfielder that Newcastle had, despite being overrun in that midfield battle there. I think any team would take him in a number 8 or number 6 spot. Playing a little bit deep this year because of Sandro Tonali joining the club, but he's got all the skills. As I said on the Away Day Show podcast, that if you had a pie chart of his game, it'd be in all different directions. He's defensively strong, he's attacking very, very strong as well, and he's got the all-around game to just knit up and knit tight a midfield, and as such, he has to be in this midfield for me. And the number 10, I guess we can say for this midfield, they're all quite strong midfielders, but I have to go with Dominic Szoboszlai. First game really struggled, I think, but I think the whole Liverpool team struggled. Their new system didn't quite suit anyone in particular, but they sort of find their feet. They got their feet wet against Bournemouth, and in that Bournemouth game, it was Luis Diaz, but Dominic Szoboszlai that really stood out for me. Came in with a lot of reputation. Obviously, last season in the Bundesliga, the 6 goals and the 8 assists in the 31 games, and also managed 3 goals and 2 assists in the German Cup as well. With the ball at his feet, we saw it against Bournemouth. His passing display is remarkable. He's got a good, powerful shot in him. Shots from outside the box that were on target and nearly heading the back of the net there. But also his ability to set up the likes of Salah, Diaz really stood out for me. And as a number 10, with that confidence and that passing, we saw when Bruno Fernandes came into Manchester United, it takes someone to be very confident in their ability and a skillful player to play these extravagant passes that land straight on these forwards' feet. And if this front three stays together, if Salah hangs around to join Diaz and Jota and maybe Nunes up front, these guys have a plethora of chances with Dominic Szoboszlai behind him. He's got as many goals in them as some of these forwards may have as well, so don't be surprised if he gets on the score sheet a few times this season. I think if he gets consistently that form and consistently that confidence that he showed against Bournemouth, it could be a massive season for Dominic Szoboszlai. The Hungarian looks very, very solid at that midfield, and you put Endo or some other defensive midfielder behind him to join McAllister in there, and that's a very, very dynamic, aggressive, attacking midfield. And that passing range, you just can't go unnoticed. He is so accurate, he's so precise with it, and so skillful with the ball at his feet. So if Endo can hold back there, there's going to be more license for Szoboszlai to get forward, to show his skill, to assist the likes of Diaz, Salah, and get on the score sheet himself. So as such, he's in this combined 11 for me. And with all that being said, we come to the front three now, and starting for the left, it is a no-brainer in many people's eyes, and in my eyes himself, it's got to be Luis Diaz. No one's really locked down that left-sided wing there at Newcastle United with the departure of, say, Maximin. So Luis Diaz just continues to show his quality. As I said last time, he was a big loss for Liverpool last season with that injury, that thigh injury. Was getting some good form, then obviously got injured and couldn't quite get up to speed again, but had a pre-season under his legs. Saw a lot of pre-season minutes and just hit the ground running this year with Liverpool. He felt like a new signing at times. His quality is there to be seen. You can see why they paid some serious money to get him across. He's so skillful, and he hit the goal against Bournemouth, flicking the ball up to himself, swiveling around and getting that in the back of the net past a flat-footed Neto there. He is so, so talented. 2 goals in as many games so far in the Premier League season. The quickness, the agility, the ability in and out of players, and find the net when needed. Even that run against Liverpool. Obviously, Salah's ball is a big part of it, but the ability for Diaz to make that run, get the ball at his feet, and clinically finish is just a sign of a great forward. Probably more of a goal-scoring winger than anything else, but in this modern game, it feels like wingers are basically forwards and false nines at times. So obviously a really, really important part of his game. I think he'll develop that assist numbers over time as well, but we saw in that Bournemouth game, he looked so dangerous. No matter what part of the game it was in, he was constantly making runs in behind the defensive line, coming, collecting balls, playing 1-2s, creating things for his team, and really deserved more than 1 goal in the end. Played a very, very good game. He looks like a man on fire, and hopefully if he can stay fit, a big season's in store for him. So as such, he's a left winger for this combined 11. Now we come to the striking position, and it was a bit of a slam dunk, this one. This guy has been killing it since joining Newcastle United. It's Alexander Isak. Obviously, a massive double against Aston Villa to start the season off, but this is following off from the 10 goals he had last year in those 22 games. Another one, he had a sort of thigh injury problems last season, but has come good now. He's staying fit and healthy, got a pre-season under his legs, and whenever he plays Newcastle United, the goal is always there as a threat. He is such a very, very clinical finisher, and when you've got the likes of Callum Wilson, who's also another clinical finisher, right behind your shoulder then pressuring you, you're going to perform very, very well. It's a healthy sort of competition going on there in Newcastle United, and I think it's getting the best out of Alexander Isak. Drew him some very serious money as well last season for Newcastle United, but has been worth every single penny. Probably not the traditional striker build, but because of that, he's so agile, he's so quick, and surprisingly strong to hold up defenders. You that goal against Konza, he rips the ball off him and shields him off to put the ball in the back of the net against Aston Villa there. a very, very good striker. And if you feed him enough and get him enough chances, he finished probably 90% of them. He's super, super clinical in front of goal, a natural finisher. And when Liverpool right now really don't have a proper number 9, a proper striker, this was an easy decision to make. I think we're in for a big season this year for Alexander Isak. If he's got the competition there with Callum Wilson, he's going to push himself to be a better forward. We've seen how good he can be when he stays on the pitch. So the 10 goals in 22 games last year, I'm expecting sort of 15, 16, 18 goals this year in hopefully around 30 games. He's a player that's always a threat for Newcastle United. He started the season off well, obviously 2 goals in 2 games. Didn't get much service against Manchester City, but when he does, he is going to put the ball in the back of the net, and as such, he's in this combined 11. And to finish off this combined 11, who else but on the right hand side, Mo Salah, always running down that wing. Hopefully we see him in the Premier League for, especially this season. Links away to Saudi Arabia, links away that Salah wants to leave the football club, but he's been one of the greatest gifts to the Premier League since he's come and stepped on English soil, constantly a threat at goal. We saw against Bournemouth an improved Salah performance. Obviously against Chelsea was, the whole tantrum that he threw, but a really poor second half for Mo Salah there. But even look to the start of the game there, that great assist, the outside the football that swerved into the line of Diaz. He didn't have to break stride at all before finishing that ball in the back of the net. He also put the ball in the back of the net himself against Chelsea, but was offside. Constantly a threat for Liverpool. Probably hasn't hit top form yet. Looked at the Bournemouth game, had a few chances where he could have shot on goal, but a poor touch or a missed dribble didn't allow him to shoot at goal. But we know how good Salah can become when he hits his top form and top performances. So the history showed itself, constantly over 30 goals and assists combined in most seasons since being at Liverpool. He has been the standout figure in the Premier League, but also in the Liverpool 11 as they've made these pushes for European and Premier League success. And could be no combined 11 in the world without Mo Salah. I think at times the guy is super talented, a wizard with the ball at his feet. He will assist you, he will score goals himself. He's always a threat to defenders and has terrorised left backs across the Premier League for many, many years now. As such, he has to finish off this combined 11 for Newcastle and Liverpool. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, brings this combined 11 to a close. To run through it again from top to bottom, it's Alisson in goal, Kieran Trippier from the right side of the defence there, Virgil van Dijk, Sven Botman and Andy Robertson closes out the defence. In midfield is a very all-rounder midfield of Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes and Dominic Szoboszlai, and then up front, the ever-dynamic Luis Diaz, the clinical Alexander Isak, and Mo Salah there from the right. A very strong team and a team that could probably compete for any Premier League title. This game's going to be massive on Sunday. I cannot wait to give it a watch. Obviously, Newcastle home, that atmosphere, it'll be pumping there at St James's Park. Liverpool want to continue the good vibes of that great result against Bournemouth. They want to keep developing their game style. It's going to be an interesting watch from start to finish. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this combined 11. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree with some of my selections. A few maybe controversial exclusions from this team. I cannot wait for this game to get underway. I hope you guys enjoy the Premier League season. Please guys have a great rest of your day. Like, subscribe, and share this channel with friends. And I'll see you guys for another video very, very soon. See you then.